Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to episode 133 of the podcast. Today is Saturday, March 30th. If you're wondering why the episode is a day earlier than usual, that's because I'm joined by a very special guest, former UFC Dana White's Contender Series winner, Season 2, and current UFC Lightweight Matt Steamrolla Frevola. Matt, thanks for taking the time to join the show. How you feeling, my man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. Just got a nice wrestling practice in and, train with Jeff Bailey. Jeff Bailey's one of my coaches. So, anything you need, I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're here at Gracie, Tampa South, which is where Matt started out his MMA career, and then he transitioned back to New York where he was born. He's now training with Sarah Longo, Wyman Longo, back on Long Island. We'll circle back to that because he's got a big fight coming up. UFC 236, April 13th in Atlanta against Jalin Turner. So how did this fight come about? Was your camp looking to get a fight for you and find an opponent? Was his camp kind of looking around? Did the UFC put this together? How did this fight kind of materialize?
Well, I had my last fight in November. And, I had a draw with Lando Vannata, but it was a great fight, and I actually came out of it. That was a war, but I came out of the fight with, feeling pretty good. Like not too many serious injuries. I took maybe a week or two off to let my body recover. And then I was right back into training. And we actually, we wanted to get on the UFC Philly card because, East Coast guy,
sure,
Philly would have been perfect. So we were pushing to get on that UFC Philly card. And then we're waiting for Sean Shelby to contact, trying to wait for some fight news. And at first he offered us April 20th in Russia.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, trying to turn it around, make the best of it. I was like, it's a fight, Russia. I've never been to Russia.
Whatever. It's right out of Rocky.
That's what I said. So we were all like, all right, we accepted a fight for Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Then I want to say 2 or 3 weeks went by and we didn't get any contract. We told them, we accept Magomed something.
Okay.
And 2 weeks went by, no contract got sent. Arroyo's talking to Sean Shelby, are you going to send the contract? And then randomly, Sean Shelby comes back and says April 13th, Jalin Turner.
Okay.
So you're like, hey, Atlanta a week earlier, I'm in shape. And
Mm-hmm.
this was we got about 4 weeks notice, 3.5 weeks notice for this fight. So it's kind of short notice, but I was already training for that Russia card.
Yeah.
And I was training I wanted to, I was in fight camp because I knew I wanted to fight either on that Philly card or April, So we got they offered us April 13th, and that's another pay-per-view card. It's Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. It's a big card.
Oh yeah.
So Atlanta is a little bit closer than Russia, so
yeah,
we were pumped about it.
Little bit closer.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who the opponent is. You're like, just get me in there, send the contract, and let's do this.
Yeah, at this point in my career, I want to be the best, and there's no easy fight in the UFC, especially the lightweight division. So,
mm-hmm.
Whoever they want me to fight, I gotta beat. And then I'm gonna keep beating whoever they put in front of me until we get a little leverage, and then we could start, trying to get the fights we want.
Yeah, you're definitely in one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC, if not the most stacked. Like you said, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier fighting on that same card.
That's gonna be awesome.
You're gonna be fighting on ESPN. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
sweet.
What do you think about that ESPN deal before we get into?
I think
your
it's awesome
opponent coming up. Yeah,
it's awesome. I've been watching ESPN since I was a kid. Eating breakfast. I put on SportsCenter. That's
sure.
That's the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And ESPN's always been the world leader in sports. And Fox was great. It was awesome having UFC on Fox. I think that was a really big stepping stone. But I think ESPN is even a step up from that. And I tell people, yeah, my fight's going to be on ESPN, and they're automatically, oh shit.
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because
cool.
it is a big deal. Everybody knows ESPN.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be on Fox, it's well, where do you find it? ESPN is the standard for sports. You're up there with NFL and MLB and all that stuff.
It was a little confusing with Fox, FS1 or FS2.
Yeah. and it was always going back. I remember setting my DVR and like it would record like NASCAR or something,
Yeah.
and because they switched the channels up. But let's get back to this fight with Jalin Turner. So he's another Contender Series fighter. I'm sure you've been watching tape and studying since this fight was booked. He presents some obvious challenges being 6'3" at lightweight. You know, besides the tail of the tape stuff, what do you see as challenges from Jalin Turner, and what do you think he does well?
You know, he's like you said, he's long. You know, he's long, but for him to make 155, I know he's cutting a lot of weight. He's also young. You know, but he's a real technical striker.
Mm-hmm.
Straight punches. He uses his length well. You know, good long knee, good straight kick. But he definitely wants to stand up. I guess supposedly he's a purple belt on the ground in jiu-jitsu, so he's got some ground game. But
Sure.
You could tell he wants to keep the fight standing. And I think the way that I mix it up will be definitely a challenge for him. So I'm looking to definitely use all aspects of mixed martial arts in this fight.
Okay, so the game plan is to bring a complete game to possibly a more one-sided game.
Exactly.
All right, and then I feel, and I've been talking about this on the show a lot lately, I feel that a size advantage is pretty much a myth. And we've seen that a lot lately. I mean, look at last week. We saw Anthony Pettis, who used to fight at 145, move all the way up to welterweight and knock out, you know, the number 3 welterweight in the world. You know, we have
that's crazy.
Dustin Poirier has been on a run since moving up from featherweight. Thiago Santos, I could go on and on. Robert Whittaker. So we're seeing more success from guys moving up than guys moving down. Yeah. What do you think about the idea of a size advantage?
You know, in the striking department, I don't think the size advantage is that big of a deal. I think that the size comes to more of an advantage in the grappling.
Okay.
Because, you know, like a big guy can kind of make you carry his weight a little bit more, and I think you can use your size to kind of zap out someone's energy. But when you're standing, when you're striking with someone,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it doesn't matter how big they are. If they hit you on the button, you're going to sleep, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the size advantage comes more into play in the grappling department. But yeah, I think, you know, cutting so much weight is definitely will hurt you if you don't do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're trying to like make a drastic weight cut, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass in the later rounds.
Yeah, there's been a lot of studies about dehydrating the brain and stuff like that, and it shuts the switch off quicker. So that's definitely a concern, and to me, it's good to see guys having success moving up in weight, so we can kind of get rid of all the drama with guys missing weight and everything like that that's been going on. So just before you were on the Contender Series, you made the move from Tampa back to Long Island. You started training with Sarah Longo, Weidman Longo, back up there. Was there an existing relationship before you moved up there? Now, I know your coach, Matt Arroyo, was on season 6 of The Ultimate Fighter, and Matt Serra was his coach, and they've maintained a good relationship. But for you personally, was there an introduction? Had you trained there before, or did you just walk in the door and say, hey guys, I'm here to train?
Yeah, there was. I was born and raised in Long Island, and then I came down to Tampa back in like 2011 to go to school. I graduated from UT,
Mm-hmm.
and when I came down, before I came down here to go to school, I was training at Sarah's, and I did about 4 or 5 months of jiu-jitsu with Sarah's, and then I actually went to the front desk at Sarah's, and I was like, I'm going down to Tampa to go to school, and they were like, oh, Matt Arroyo's got a school down there. So then I came down here and started training with Arroyo and started my amateur fighting career. And then, you know, whenever I would come home for Christmases and summers and whatnot, I would go back to Sarah's. I'd go train with Longo and Weidman, and I would train there when I would go home pretty much. And then I would come back to go to school and train with Arroyo and everything. So that's where the relationship really started.
Yeah, and obviously it's still a cohesive relationship. You come down here, you did a week of your training camp for Jalin Turner here in Tampa at Gracie Clearwater, Gracie Tampa. So it wasn't out of the blue. You just picked up and moved Florida and walked into Sarah Longo's and started training there.
Yeah, I love it down here. It's great training in Tampa. It's got a great MMA scene. but Long Island will always be home.
There's no place like home. Is there anything besides it actually being home that you missed about New York from moving from Florida? And I asked this for a specific reason because I grew up in New York and I live in Florida now, besides family and home and everything like that.
Pizza?
That's the answer I was looking for, Matt, because there's no fucking good pizza in Florida.
and the egg sandwiches.
Yeah.
Bacon, egg, and cheese on everything bagel.
People don't even know what it is down here.
I know. They don't know what egg sandwich is.
Yeah. They look at you like you're a fucking alien. You ask for a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh, I can't wait till after this fight. I'm going to get a nice fat egg sandwich.
Yeah, obviously you're holding off on the pizza and the bagels during fight camp, sticking to the water and the greens and everything like that so you can make 155 comfortably.
Just makes it that much sweeter after the fight.
So obviously it's a great gym that you're training at now. Was there any tension with people in the gym when you started there? Because I've moved around a bunch. I started at new jiu-jitsu gyms and, people are always welcoming, but they're always sizing you up too. So you're coming in there, you're looking to get into the UFC. They have guys looking to get into the UFC. Was it automatically a great relationship since you had been training there on and off when you were home from college and stuff like that? Or, did you kind of have to prove yourself, or did you feel like you had to prove yourself once you got in there full time?
Honestly, it was really great. Longo and Weidman welcomed me in with, open arms, but I think it was, they saw that I was, dedicated. I would get there early. I would jump rope, before class. I would, if anyone who was there, like I always talk about, I got a training partner up there, James Gonzalez, and he's a black belt under Matt Serra. Okay. And he's the only black belt in jiu-jitsu that I would get to class early, and he'd want to do stand-up sparring rounds. And I'd be like, you're the only black belt I've met that wants to do stand-up sparring rounds like before class. And and I think people, saw that I would get there. I'm a team player. As much of a independent, sport this is, it's a team sport. You got to help your training partners, and if you show that you want to get better and you want to help the people around you get better, they really, everyone there is super, super helping, super welcoming. And Longo is the man, he's the realest guy that you'll meet. And I think, what they say, real recognize real. And that was how it was. Yeah,
that seems to be the case. I've never been in that gym. I've never trained there, but from the outside looking in, it looks like they have a really cohesive thing going on where everybody kind of stays in their lane. So if you're fighting and you're fighting a grappler, then Sarah will step up. If you're fighting a striker, Longo will step up, and everybody kind of moves back and forth accordingly. Am I assessing that right from the outside looking in?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, the jiu-jitsu at Sarah's is another level. You come in there and there's 8-9 black belts on the mat, Tuesday nights and Friday mornings. Like we get like at least, like I'm rolling with like 4 or 5 black belts every time I'm in there. It's
wow.
And then the training up there is great. Mm-hmm. It's definitely high level.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've been around a lot of gyms, and a lot of times ego can come into play. You have the jiu-jitsu coach who wants to be the striking coach, and vice versa. And people just don't stay in their roles, and that doesn't really benefit the fighters in my experience. But I've always thought about Sarah Longo as one of the ideal scenarios where everybody plays their role, everybody plays it well, and the ego gets checked at their door.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cool. So like we said, the 155-pound division, one of the most stacked, if not the most stacked divisions in the UFC, in anywhere in mixed martial arts. You look at, people make arguments, maybe Bellator has better welterweights or better middleweights, but across the board, I think the UFC 155-pound division is just insane. And we got, actually tonight, Edson Barbosa and Justin Gaethje. You got your eyes on that fight.
Oh, it's going to be epic.
You might be coming in contact with one of these guys down the line. So how do you see that one going?
Oh man, it's gonna be a great fight. I love Justin Gaethje. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be rooting for Gaethje. I got to make my pro debut on the World Series of Fighting when they were in Tampa.
Okay.
And Justin Gaethje was fighting Melvin Gouliard.
Yeah.
For that main event, so I got to meet him then, and And I remember like looking at him, and he was like this like little guy with like glasses. And, like who the fuck is this guy? Like he's the champ. He's gonna get his ass beat by Melvin. And then Gagey came in and like fucked up Melvin, and ever since then I was like, yo, Justin Gagey's the truth. So I'm gonna be rooting for him, but Edson is a beast too, so it's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah, so I know my coach Jeff Bailey was with you for that fight, and I remember him telling me about it. He's like, there was this little guy doing handstands backstage, and then I found out he was fighting Melvin Gillard, and same thing. Now he's a fan for life after seeing that performance. If you guys have never seen Justin Gaethje fight outside of the UFC, highly recommend it if you're a fan of the sport. So sticking with the 155-pound division, your teammate Ally Quinta just booked a fight with Donald Cowboy Cerrone. As a fan of MMA, you can't be disappointed with this fight, but obviously you got a little bit of bias. So what were your thoughts when this one was booked?
Man, I was pumped. We were all pushing. We wanted Al to beat up McGregor. That was a fight. That was a fight that everyone really wanted. But I think Cowboy is one step down from that. I think that's such a great fight. Cowboy's a legend in the sport. He's been around for so long. He's such a good fighter, such a fan favorite, and Al is the man. Al brings the fight every single time he steps into that octagon, and that's just the kind of fight you want to see. Two guys that are going to come in there and bring it, and I think Al's youth and punching power and striking is definitely going to be the difference maker. I think Cowboy's miles are going to kind of show in this fight, and Al's going to go in there and finish him, and then he's going to get that McGregor fight.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Conor's got this pseudo-retirement or whatever he's got, whatever the latest PR scheme is that he's doing.
Exactly.
I always avoid talking about drama that doesn't have to do with fighting on this show. It's like if Conor's got a fight coming up, I'll talk about him. I don't care what else he's doing. If he's he's getting people pregnant or whatever.
He's just got to fight. Him and the Diaz brothers they just gotta fight.
I guess it's tough when your bank account gets inflated to a certain point and then you don't really need to do it, and then but there's good opportunities, and maybe that hunger is not really there anymore when you're
seems that way, right?
Yeah, but I guess that's up to them. I'm looking forward to Al and Cowboy. As a fight fan, that's a dream matchup right there. So speaking of dream matchups, your fight with Lando Vannata, my opinion, the greatest fight of 2018. It was a draw, but at the end of this fight, and I had a little bias since you're coming from, same fight camp, same gyms. But at the end of that fight, I was like, fuck, I don't know. If I was judging that fight, obviously I was rooting for you. And I was like, I'm a little biased. And I was like, I would not want to judge this thing. It was one of the craziest back and forth scraps. Now, I want to talk about the actual fight, but was there any talk immediately after of running it back because it was a draw, or did that just not line up time-wise? After the fight, like during the interviews and stuff, they were all asking about a rematch, and 100% I want that rematch. Yeah.
That's something that will definitely be on the horizon. I keep winning, he keeps winning. Hopefully we could headline a card someday. That would be pretty epic.
Yeah, it may even work out better that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the actual fight itself, if you guys haven't seen this, UFC 230, it was on the prelims. Didn't even get a fight of the night bonus.
Yeah.
But man, this was one of the craziest fight. All right, it ended in a draw. Big deal. That's some of the craziest 15 minutes of MMA you'll ever see. How did it feel being in there? Did you feel like you were part of something special during that fight, or were you just kind of in the zone and just kind of flowing with him in there?
I was in the zone. I was fighting. I was straight up fighting. He dropped me with a head kick, like I think in like the first minute, and my mouthpiece went flying out, and like I was like, fuck, and then I knew I was a little bit behind in the first round, so I was trying to open up, and I came back and won that first round from getting dropped, so that was big. But then that second round was rough for me, and I got beat up in that second round. And then, I definitely had to dig deep to come back and win that third round. So, I think that was a great fight just to get the full 15 minutes in the octagon and really get battle tested.
Yeah.
So, and each judge said that I won the first round and I won the third round.
Okay.
And then 2 of the judges said that the second round was a 10-8 round.
Okay.
And then the third judge said that the second round was 10-9.
Okay.
So the one judge said I won.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 judges said it was a draw, so it was a majority draw.
Right. And are you just going by the scores, or did you get an opportunity to actually talk to them about it?
I didn't talk to the judges, but I saw the scorecards.
Okay. And how do you feel? You think you won that fight?
Yeah, I won 2 out of 3 rounds, and I know I got beat up in that second round, but was it a 10-8 round?
Yeah. I mean, that's something, unfortunately, that isn't too clear. Across the boards, we've got so much misconception with the unified rules that aren't really unified. But as a fighter, I guess you just got to keep your head down, not really worry about that stuff. Like, tell me what's legal tonight. And that's the way it's going to go down.
It was a great fight. And, I'm sure that we'll lock horns again.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys run this back, you've got built-in marketing. Neither of you need to say a word. They just have to replay a couple of highlights from that first fight. And whoever didn't see it is going to want to tune in for the rematch.
Yeah, definitely.
So if anybody's listening from the UFC, let's get that rematch after these guys get a couple of wins under their belts here.
Yeah, once I handle business April 13th.
That's right.
Good. Maybe we'll run it back at MSG again.
Yeah. And obviously, your fighting kind of speaks for itself. You're not big on the social media and the trash talk and everything like that to build fights. If the opponent were appropriate, you think you'd lean towards that a little bit more, or it's just not your thing?
I think I'm definitely like to build up a fight.
Sure.
I like fight, promoting it, getting everyone into it, but I'm not gonna do something that I'm not like feeling, but we'll see. I think I gotta be in the moment.
If somebody pushes the right buttons,
if I'm feeling it, I'll say it, but I'm definitely a martial artist at heart, so I like to keep it classy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's martial arts. It's also sports entertainment.
Yeah.
There's different approaches. Yeah. I mean, to each their own.
Exactly.
So tell me about the Contender series. What was that experience like? Because you had fought at some of the bigger promotions here in Florida, Titan, RFC, and everything like that. What was it like to be at the UFC training center and just that whole experience? What was the difference in organization and pace with the event and everything like that?
It was awesome. I think they flew me out there like a month before the fight to do like a promo.
Okay. And
like we got to spend like a weekend, like weekend or 3 days or something out there and train at the UFC PI, which was awesome. And got to do like photo shoots and just like go around like the UFC and just kind of spend some time in Vegas, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then, we went back, finished up camp and going out, fighting in Vegas is awesome. I love the atmosphere there. And then the UFC PI is unreal. Just being able to, cut weight there and train there while you're in Vegas is pretty awesome. And then, the atmosphere itself for the Contender series was definitely different. It was in the Ultimate Fighter gym. Yeah. So it was like not a very big crowd. It was like an intimate crowd feeling. And no walkout music, no like walkout, I think I had like six or seven like people, like family and friends watching me there. And then Dana White just sitting right there cage side. So it was cool, but I was again I was in the zone. It was like another day at the office. When I'm in that cage, it's me, my opponent, and the ref. Yeah, and we're fighting.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of answers my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is it different than fighting on the big stage with a big crowd? Because like you said, it is more intimate. There's not as much noise, but you got the king on his throne, Dana White, sitting there, and he's the one you got to impress. Is that going through your head, or it's just you're just totally focused on what you need to do?
Yeah, I'm focused. When I'm in there, I'm looking my opponent in the eyes. I know he's trying to hurt me. I know what I want to do. I want to dictate the pace of the fight. I want to fight my fight, and I want to go in there and finish him. And that's my focus. And like I said, another day at the office, another day in the office when I'm in there, and me, my opponent, and the referee that's going to pull me off him.
Yeah, absolutely. Then that's an awesome attitude to have. So growing up on Long Island, you and I were talking about this briefly, but I wanted to talk about it more here on the show. You were a lacrosse player.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another thing you and I have in common. And lacrosse isn't something that really exists here in Florida.
No, it's growing though.
Yeah, for sure. It's starting to appear a little bit more, but Long Island, you're born with a lacrosse stick in your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like your experience as a lacrosse player has translated any skills over to mixed martial arts at all?
Well, you got to be athletic to play lacrosse. So, I'm definitely I was a 3-sport athlete, growing up: football, lacrosse, wrestling, and then I played baseball growing up a little too. So I think all those sports really built my athleticism. And I actually started lacrosse a little late. I started in 9th grade. And it was because I played football. I like to hit people, and then I wrestled. I like to slam people. And then the next season came, and it was baseball season, and I was like,
it kind of seems a little.
I'm gonna play lacrosse. I could run someone down the field and hit them with a stick. So that sounds a little bit funner.
Now you're saying you started late in 9th grade. Now a lot of people in other parts of the country, not Long Island, are like, "What are you talking about?" That's when lacrosse starts, is 9th grade. But on Long Island, it's a whole different ball game. They're starting at like 4 or 5 years old, playing wall ball and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like. There are a lot of skills that translate, because you have to cut angles and things like that. You have to be explosive.
Yeah, definitely.
And, maybe shoot. What position did you play?
I was midfield.
Okay.
Did a little face-offs too.
Yeah, face-offs.
Yeah, got low. Used my wrestling a little on those face-offs.
There you go. I think a lot of people.
Hand-eye coordination was big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a great sport. I mean, you can hit people. You can. Nothing like ripping a shot and like some top cheese,
Yeah.
Nice, you know the deal.
You're bringing nostalgia back for me right now, but yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how rough of a sport it actually is.
Oh, yeah.
Especially since it's not around in a lot of parts of the country.
I'd say that some of the hardest hits I've taken was on a lacrosse field. Being a midfielder, going for a over the shoulder pass, getting fucking blindsided.
Yeah, it's the ones you don't see, and it's not just a punch; it's a whole body coming at your head. I'm having a little bit of flashback right now that you're talking about it. So usually, what I like to do is when I interview people, is do it over a couple of drinks. This is a mixed martial arts podcast that also has its roots in alcohol. Those of you who are longtime listeners are well aware. But obviously, you're in fight camp right now. I can't be having you funneling beers on the internet with me. But if you did not have a fight coming up April 13th, what are you sipping on to kind of relax, unwind, or to celebrate? What's your kind of go-to adult beverage, Matt?
Yeah, honestly, I just before this, I started this fight camp. My fiance actually ordered an old fashioned.
Okay.
And I was like, and it's just like whiskey, I guess, a little whiskey rock in there. And of course she didn't drink it, so I grabbed it.
Yeah.
And I just started slow sipping the whiskey. And I I think I'm developing a taste for just straight whiskey.
All right. So the next time we do this podcast, I got something in store for you. Then we're gonna do some whiskey. When you're not in a fight camp, when you're just down here enjoying the beach and some training, we'll do a little bit of whiskey, because I'm a big whiskey guy. So if you like old fashions, I got some stuff that's right up your alley.
Sounds good. We'll celebrate with that.
Yeah, we'll do a shot to celebrate your win after April 13th too.
Sounds good, man.
All right, so I'm gonna give you the floor for a little bit. If you have any sponsors you want to shout out, and let the folks know where they can find you on social media so they can follow your career.
Yeah, definitely all my gyms, Gracie Tampa South, Gracie Clearwater, Law MMA, Sarah BJJ, all my training partners there. And then my strength and conditioning, acceleration, sports training, they have saved me more times than you would know, because they're great in PT work. If anything hurts, they've brought me back from my ankle surgery, brought me back from ACL surgery, brought me back from they really build me up to be able to train like I train. I just teamed up with a CBD company,
Okay.
Highline Wellness, and that CBD is really helping. So shout out to Highline Wellness, CBD. And then No Judges Needed. They've been with me since my first amateur fight. They've got great apparel, and that's how I fight. And No Judges Needed in my fight.
We could walk right out this door right now and see about 15 No Judges Needed rash guards. They make some awesome stuff.
That's about it. And everyone, all my friends, all my family, everyone who supports the journey and follows the journey, I appreciate it. That's what drives me, to motivates me to come out here and put in the work every day. And I'm ready to go out there and fight my heart out for everyone. And after the fight, have a beer with everyone.
For sure.
Yeah,
so if people want to continue to follow the journey, where do they find you on social media?
Steamrolla Frevola, Steamrolla_Frevola. Instagram. I'm mainly post on Instagram. I haven't really got into the Twitter too much, but
okay.
Instagram, you can follow my fight camp. I do it all in my story. I try to post on there as much as possible. So, Facebook as well, but I would say mainly Instagram.
All right. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy man. You got fight camp. You got a flight back to New York later today. You got a lot of stuff going on. So I really appreciate you taking the time. As a journalist and a broadcaster, I want to be as objective as possible. But as a guy who has seen you train and putting in the work in the gym these last couple of days, I want to wish you the best of luck in your fight. April 13th, UFC 236 on ESPN against Jalin Turner. Matt, thanks again for doing the show.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Thank you.
All right, brother. Until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.
Boom.